Hi everyone, what's up? Welcome here. No matter who you are, no matter what life we live, at some point in life we are bound to be disappointed. At some point something will not turn out the way we had hoped or expected it to turn out. What can we do in those situations to grow from them and come out of them stronger than we were before? When we start off somewhere, we imagine what that experience will be like, and it's very unlikely that it will always be the way that we had imagined it to be. So at some point or other, we will be disappointed. And coping with disappointments is a very important skill to have. This can happen at so many points in life. You can meet someone and get the feeling that this will develop into a deep and lasting relationship, but then it doesn't. Or you start a family with someone and after a couple years realize that it won't work out in the long run. Or you invest many years into a job and then you're let go. Or you're not promoted when you thought you would be promoted. Or you lay your eyes on a certain property or house and then someone else buys it before you have the money to do so. So whatever it may be, we will be disappointed, and we can now either become bitter and frustrated with life, or we can use it as a chance to grow personally, to become stronger and a happier person. And in this video, I will share 5 truths about life that will help you process disappointments and grow from them instead of letting them make you into a bitter person. Truth number 1, expectations that are too high or too low can lead to disappointment. Disappointment has a lot to do with the kinds of expectations that we set. And the trick is to not set them too high or too low. If we have an expectation that is highly unrealistic, we already decrease the chance or likelihood of something ever turning out that way. Or we might not even bring up the energy to get started because we've ignored the rocky path to get to that goal for so long, and in order to get going, we would have to look at that. So an expectation that is too high can be something that leads to disappointment. Another thing is if it's too low. Sometimes people use expectations that are very low to protect themselves from disappointment, in the line of, well, if I don't expect something good to happen, I won't be disappointed when it doesn't. But leaving self-fulfilling prophecies aside, after some time you might realize that actually I could have had a much different life if I would have only dared to dream a bit bigger and try. So yeah, if they're too high or too low, expectations can lead to disappointment. And it's a very helpful skill to be able to fine-tune your expectations into an area where they are most beneficial for you. And this is something that, of course, we just have to practice. Nobody is born as the best expectation manager. And the more we reflect and observe, the better we will be at bringing our expectations into that beneficial and supportive range. Truth number 2, there is no one right speed for life. Sometimes we can be disappointed by how long something is taking to fully materialize itself. We see our friends having kids and don't feel there yet, or while we are still in training, others have already started their first job. We lay these social scripts over our life and then expect our life to go exactly like that. But the truth is that although there is an average age where certain things happen for the majority of people, that doesn't mean that you will reach those milestones at that age, and that should or will happen to you at that point of time. So walk through life at your pace. Every life is highly unique. We all have individual journeys ahead and come from very different places. Don't let others pressure you with expectations of when something will happen. You can't rush life anyways, and sometimes we actually learn the most from our detours. The journey is actually a large part, maybe even the largest part of the reward. Truth number 3, sometimes there's nothing we can do. In some situations, other people or circumstances are more powerful determinants on deciding how it will go than we are or our endeavors are. So while in general it is good to be proactive, and if you want to reflect more on that, check out this video, it's also important to realize when we are not the main agents in a situation, and to not blame ourselves for not achieving something that we could never have achieved no matter how hard we tried. It's important to distinguish between what we can actually influence and change and what we can't change. This way we can direct our energy to places where we can actually do something instead of wasting it on things that we can't change. And we can avoid false self-blaming and rather hold ourselves accountable at places where it matters. And usually that is our daily behavior and our habits. Truth number 4, hashtag communication is key. This is now something that we can do. Often we are disappointed because we didn't communicate enough about our expectations. We have an assumption that something is the obvious thing to do, and we expect someone to act that way, and then they don't, and we are disappointed because for them it wasn't obvious. So make sure that you tell others what you're envisioning. Make sure they know what you imagine things to play out that are affecting both you and them, what roles you and them will be playing in that scenario, and then you can have real conversations about what expectations they see themselves fulfilling and how, and what their expectations are towards you. Sometimes we get frustrated or disappointed in life due to really small things that could have been prevented by communication. These are things like, who will take out the trash when? When are we going to go home at the latest at this party? When will the meeting take place? How long will it be? And what is the topic of the meeting? Truth number 5, happiness often does not come from getting what we want. Research shows that getting what we want is actually a poor predictor for happiness. Often we misjudge how happy getting something will make us. For example, people who win the lottery often say that this wasn't something that made their life better. Some even say it's the worst thing that ever happened to them. You can Google this. There are many reports like this to be found on the internet. The psychologist Daniel Gilbert has studied this intensely, and he found that we are actually pretty bad at anticipating how something will make us feel in the future, which includes anticipating how happy something will make us. We overestimate how happy getting something will make us and how long that happiness will last. So usually getting something doesn't make us as happy and it fades quickly. This is called the impact bias. Getting everything and having everything work out perfectly is not what is going to make you happy. The more we are fixed on a certain person, job, position, possession, or experience and think that this is the one thing that's going to make me happy, the more disappointed we will be when it doesn't turn out that way. And even if it does turn out that way, it's very likely that it won't make us as happy for as long as we think it will make us happy. What is helpful is to come to the realization that there are innumerable ways of leading a happy life, and if one door closes, you can look for another one to open. A much more effective strategy of pursuing happiness is to be present now, to be grateful, to practice mindfulness, and to free your expectations of what will make you happy from external achievements. It's not that car, person, job, achievement, position that will make you happy. It's how you live your life now. And one part of your life now is which channels on YouTube you are subscribed to. Make sure that this is one of them so you can keep on being inspired by this kind of content in the future. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye.